All right, welcome everybody to Paradigm's 14th live stream of 2025. My name is Parker Rogers. I do go-to-market and sales engineering at Paradigm, and I'm joined by our co-founder, Fabio Di Letta. And in these weekly live streams, we typically are demonstrating new Paradigm features and new AI integrations that we've built. And today we are still going to do some Paradigm demonstrations, but we're going a step further. We are going to compare what we've built in Paradigm's Code IDE to what many of you are familiar with in Cursor and in Snowflake Workspaces. So Fabio has prepared all of this. He's done all the comparisons. He said it was quite a bit of work and he learned quite a bit. So I'm excited to learn from him as well. So Fabio, with no further ado, the time is yours.
Thanks, Parker. Yeah, definitely, it's been quite of a journey. I think after being using Paradime for a while, I forgot how painful it was to set up DBT locally and make sure that, particularly on the MCP server side, make sure that cursor was set up and fit for purpose. So definitely prefer to have a turnkey solution like Paradime, but I think it was still fun to do that and kind of get to it. But yeah, I think we can kick things off. I'll provide a couple of posts, and I want to walk through on kind of like discuss about what are the differences. I wouldn't say that there are no differences. There are in some areas. Paradime is quite different from the other tools. In some others, kind of like a bit more closer to each other. But I think, let's get things off. So the first thing, of course, is around, as all type of workflow we do, is about creating a branch. Now with Paradime, we can do it easily by just creating a new branch here. We'll call this live stream 17. And we really take care of setting up all the branches. We create a branch domain. We make sure that we pull and we get everything up and running on our end, so that we don't really have to do much else there in terms of like handling all the different configuration that a user may have to do. So now that we've done this, we can kind of like go through a couple of things of how this will look like also within the other platform. So I'm going to flip it over now to Snowflake. Now, one thing about Snowflake is that it connects to the repository the same way as Paradime does. They also have a much more Git-like type of interface. However, they don't automatically check you out from your main branch, right? So I really need to make sure that if, for example, I was on another branch here, I will have to make sure that I first go to main. That's the kind of the first step we have to do. When I'm in main, then I can go and say, okay, let me go and let's go through this workflow again. So I'll go to main. I'll check this up there, and only at that point where I checked out that branch, I can go and click. So I really have to manually go and check the branch I'm checking out there. So I'll call this def.tl snow workspace 17. And now I can start my work, here. So this is a much more similar interface, I have to say, compared with Paradime. It has really focused on trying to make the Git experience as simple as it can be. But still, we'll see how to go through along, where there's still a couple of areas there where user is required to do quite a few more steps there. So I'm just going to now flip it off to go and share cursor on the other side. Let's bear with me for a second. Should I have a much bigger screen here? Okay, now we are back on the cursor. So already cursor, we can see it's a bit more developer focused. This is my Git panel. So for me to create a branch, either I can use a terminal, which is something we can do in Paradime too. Otherwise, I'll have to go here. I have to, again, make sure that I'm creating the branch from the right place. So there's not this slight self-assisted version of the word here. Again, I have to make sure that I click on create branch. I have to select and make sure that I'm going to create a branch from origin main, and I'm going to now call like this. So And at this point now, I'm on this new branch. Again, the branch was not pushed, so I have also to push the branch manually to start getting my work done. A couple of things related to cursors. So while we're here, cursor out of the box does not come with a lot of the functionality that we need to do DBT development. So I did have to spend time on setting up my DBT Power User extension, make sure that my virtual environment was set up, install all these sort of things before I will actually get my hands on doing some active development there. So what we're going to do now, we're going to switch back. Actually, we can continue from here. We can go ahead and start doing some development work and see where we get to. So we'll start with this, right? So this is a classic workflow we've done a few times in the past with Paradime as well, which is basically being able to update my sources.yaml, right? So I'm kind of like making sure that we can pull whatever has been removed or added within my sources. So I'm going to do something similar. I'm just going to copy and paste. We're going to use exactly the same prompt here, and I'm going to also add as context my F1 sources.yaml. So again, what I want here from a cursor perspective is like, hey, I have a bunch of sources on this YAML file. How can I go and update it based on whatever is available in terms of the new tables that are there? So we're going to see now how cursor is going to start doing this for us. Cursor does not come with any tools out of the box, so I had to spend quite a bit of time on getting my MCP server set up. But here we'll say experience work. Okay, we're going to try and fetch some metadata related to our tables. We're going to go through making some of those updates that we have there in here and start adding some of the information we might need there. So the first things, and it's kind of interesting actually, is that it's not finding any of the additional. You can see that there are additional table here in there, and it's asking, okay, do you want me to update these? So I'll say yes. Let's sources. And now he's going to use the MCP tool. Then we had to start fetching the media for Snowflake. Now, this is not a native experience, so I can see that it's having a bit of troubles on accessing that metadata from Snowflake. So let's keep trying. So it's not able to access some of the metadata that we want. And let's keep trying. Okay, let's see if we manage to pass this through. Okay, so it seems that it's moving forward now. So there's been definitely a bit of hiccups at the beginning, but ultimately got there, which is good. So now we are looking at, updating the sources that we have here. And perfect, here we go. So we have that part now on that side. Okay, so it's returning all the stuff we need. Okay, perfect. I can now go and review and keep all my changes that we just done in here. Let's say that I can also maybe go and create a commit. Let's see. I can click on the commit button. So they also support an AI commit generator, which is pretty good. We know our user loves this. So I can click on commit. And again, here we're just committing, right? So we're not pushing, we're not fetching, we're not really checking that my branch is being kept up to date with the main or default branch in there. So we got that. It was pretty good. I think it got a couple of hiccups at the beginning, but we got to where we want to. So let me go ahead now and go back to share my other screen where I do have Paradime. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So let's try and do a similar workflow now. So I'm going to go and open my sources.yaml. We will use the prompt or the Dino prompt in Paradime. So we have this feature which allows us to have some repeatable prompts available to us that we can reuse. So the prompt message is the same. It's the same one that I picked for cursor. Let's see what we Right, so straight away, we go and look at the schema in there. So we have natively this Snowflake tools available within Paradime to fetch metadata from our database. It already went and find the 4 columns, 4 tables I want there. And now it's looking at updating and fetching additional metadata here. So I think one of the core things here is that within the Paradime engine, Snowflake and data warehouse tools are first-class citizens, right? So they're embedded within our workflow. Means that there is no setup needed. That's the first thing. It was quite painful to get that up and running for these sessions, but also it's embedded within the workflow of the agent itself. So this is it will. I can just see maybe okay. Parker, I think we were not showing really the full board here. We're not sharing the full screen. Okay, I can talk you through that. Fine. Going back, we just created or reused the sources.yaml that we had available here. We used exactly the same prompt that we use in Cursor, and we have used the tool which is native to Paradime to connect to Snowflake. It was able to fetch the metadata that we needed to understand this, and he actually went and did the first shot there. So in Cursors, we were having a bunch of errors accessing the Snowflake metadata. I think that's because the type of MCPs and the tools that are made available within the Snowflake MCP is quite broad, which means that the agent has to make a lot of decisions about what kind of Snowflake query to take to expose the metadata. But we went where we want to do. So it was, I guess, seems a little bit more streamlined, the process here. And again, it's just because we build this natively within Paradime. So it's a lot more natively embedded within our infrastructure there. We can switch to Git Lite. We can do the write commit message in here again. And here's where Paradime does a bunch more things that we built within our application, which is making sure that we're not falling behind, right? So if there was any new commit with merge default, the user will be getting the prompt to update that additional information and fetch the additional commits that we wanted there. So this is the part of the experience we just tackled there. Let's go and now switch to Snowflake, right? So here now we're trying to do exactly the same thing, which is I do have my sources.yaml in here. I think I need to enable this first. And I want to basically update now this source here. Interesting things that come to the AI here is that actually I don't have any AI capability right here. So there's no way for me to actually use context from this file in any capacity. So let me explain a little bit more. So there are currently in Snowflake, there is a copilot which sits within the SQL data exploration experience there. And we can go and select this now in here. I choose my warehouse as well. And if you see here, I get this inline way to generate code, but actually does not sit within the DBT project. So I can actually go and say, hey, create, if we're going to go and actually just do a like for like in here, which is, I'm going to use exactly the same prompt. I'm going to paste it here, and let's see what we get to. So I don't really have a mean right now within the Snowflake Workspaces to go and edit my YAML files or edit my DBT project.yaml file or pass certain context related to my project as easy as it comes within Paradime, right? And as a result, we get this really weird state now that actually the agent or the Snowflake agent is returning something that I don't really want in there. So when we look at AI, a very, very key differentiator within this tree product, I'll say, is that Cursor, it is, of course, one of the leading product around AI enablement for code IDEs in general, however, not built for purpose for data development. What it means is that, okay, we need to set up an MCP, we need to set up those configuration, but more importantly, it's not as, I'll say, reliable in the experience from that angle about using the MCP in the right way, even just looking at that. From a Snowflake perspective, we actually cannot do some of the workflow. I think Snowflake is pretty good at generating SQL within the context of data exploration. But as we can see here, it doesn't really return what I'm after, which is I really want to update this existing file I have here and really nothing else. So if I go here and I'm pressing the shortcut, which is Command E to basically do the inline editor there, but there is not really a way for me to access anything there. So that's an interesting thing that it definitely gets in the way. I think what we learn as with Paradime in general is that writing SQL is definitely an important part of DBT development, but there's a lot around that, which is generating description, generating tests, working with YAML files, passing context from different files or different DBT models, generating macros. So all these things are really not easily accessible, I guess, within the context of Snowflake, right? Now, so far so good. In general, I think with Paradime, it seems that we get like a better experience there. But let's see what else we can do here. So let's look at now some of the other workflows within Snowflake as well. So the first thing here is we need to compile the whole project again to go and see some of the information we have available to us here. And really what I do is now start looking a little bit more on the data exploration side. So yes, we do need to do DBT depths. Something interesting I noticed is that DBT depth seems to be something we need to run every single time we create a branch in Snowflake. So it doesn't sit there for us. We have to keep rerunning this, but maybe something might be missing. Some setting there potentially, but again, it's not as intuitive from the angle that it just sits there. So first thing, yes, let's run dbt depths to install some of the packages we have here. And then we'll go through some of the exploration side, I think, around the data in there. So, okay, so now this is done. Perfect. We can go and now do the dbt compile too. So something we notice here is that, as you will expect in a way, Snowflake does not have a terminal, right? So from a command perspective, it's purely UI based. Everything I'm doing has to go through the this button there, but also means that we have DBT contains a lot of flags and selectors that we can use as part of our CLI, and it doesn't really make it easier for us to actually use them right now. So I can pass additional flags here, but it's, again, I have to click on that button and do that, so it's a bit less intuitive there. Now, if we're going to look at the view compile SQL in here, there's one thing I personally really like about Snowflake, I have to say. In here, we just have to go and select all these things first. Again, and I'm going to preview data. So one thing that I personally love, and I have to admit that, is the data preview and the way how you can export data. Rightly so, ultimately Snowflake is a SQL workbench that allows to export data. So there's a lot of things we can see here. So I can also look at potentially some chart. Okay, never mind. We could potentially look at some of the chart there. So we do have some pretty good visibility here, and I think this is where AI comes into the picture for Snowflake. So I can go here and say update this for return so when we are looking at using AI for generating SQL for exploration, I can see where Snowflake has spent a lot of efforts in trying to embed that experience within this workflow. Not much, I'll say, not necessarily within the experience of a DBT development there. Here, cool. I can maybe accept this, and let's see. Again, if we here didn't return. Nice, cool. Maybe maybe data flow around, let's say, last 30 years. Okay, cool. Okay, we got something, which is good. Now, the next thing up is, okay, what if I want to create this as a DBT model here? Well, there's not really much that allows me to select translate this into nice shapes format. Okay. So if I want to like create this into a model, I have to first choose to like copy paste these things around in here, and then sort of like rename this to DBT model. Okay, then drop this inside this folder. There. So I was kind of like able now to at least cover some of those experiences that I want to press there and move forward with the SQL generation of this. So let's go here now and make some of those changes in here. Let's look it up. Interesting. Okay, so I think I might drop this in the wrong place. Okay, here you go. You went into target folder. Okay, so I would expect this to show something. Not sure why there's no changes coming up. But one of the things, okay, I cannot create any AI commit here, right? So I'd like update DBT model in there. Not sure what it's going to push, but fundamentally, it's a little bit more, I think, cumbersome to get to this to these steps there. One other thing that I think definitely Snowflake it's pretty cool at is the data explorer panel. So if I look at this now, I can actually access my databases. I can see some of the data I have here. So I think this comes out really strong from these examples there. There is So I think that's from the preview side. Let's jump on the Paradime word to take a look at this as well. So something we can look right away on the data explorer side. Yes, we can compile the SQL, we can do preview data, all these things are available for us. We don't see a way for us to access the list of databases in schema as workflows. You can still query it, but it's available there, and you can compile the SQL here. You can look at the compiled SQL, you can run it, you can change the image, you can download. So anything which relates to an existing DBT model, I think we're pretty covered there. There is an interesting things around the lineage side. Let's see if I can show you something as well. So from a Paradime perspective, on the lineage, we do give you the visibility within those DBT models. Then I can click on the plus sign and kind of like navigate and see what's else there. Something super powerful we see with our customers is actually the ability to connect to your downstream layer, right? Here we can see that we have a DBT model connected to here, but we have currently our Looker integration up running with dashboards and Look. So from a development perspective, we can actually see and extend a lot more of what is possible and what is how a data flow moves left and right there. I think a little bit more focus on our side if we put this in comparison with the data flow itself, not necessarily with SQL exploration or SQL worksheets in that case. From a Paradime perspective, that's what we build around this context of exploration there. A few things related to these two is around running models. Now, Paradime does come with a fully fledged terminal, right? So I can actually go and run my models using this, or I can use any of the commands that we have on the right side. So a little bit more focus around the developer experience, again, of DBT in terms of those flexibility there. I'm going to pause now and stop with this for a second, and I'm just going to now flip through my cursor screen. So let's do this. Okay, perfect. Okay, back in the cursor. Awesome. So again, cursor doesn't come out of the box with any of the feature around data exploration and with lineage. We have to rely on external third-party extension that we have to set up actually get to that place. But here we see a lot more similarity compared to what we built. So I can go here. If I want to click on query results, I can see a preview here, a lot similar to what we have on Paradime, to look at the data and what is available in here. I can see I can copy this and download, so pretty similar to the Paradime experience there. But let's see how far we can see the lineage, right? So here I can see that we do have, see this. We can select, say, just a subset, I guess, of our model here. Yes. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So kind of interesting here is that, yes, I do see some of the lineage dependencies I have. Here. See. Interesting. Okay, cool. We got that. But really not more outside of DBT, right? So this is interesting. It kind of like you're allowed to kind of like explore some of the lineage dependencies in a much similar way than what we do with Paradime here. But there is no connection to your BI tool or to BI layer. So can really do more than this, which I think particularly as a data practitioner, when you're kind of like looking at understanding how your data flow from one side to the other, like get a better understanding of the data flow in that case, be quite useful. But we won't get this out of the box here. Now a few more things we can definitely look up there is like, okay, from how do we run models in here? So good thing cursor is also as a fully fledged terminal. So this will allow us to run a bit more of the command we want in here. So I can do, I can do a simple dbt run, maybe easier. So you can do this in a much more similar way than we do in Paradime. Thanks to the extension, we do have the ability to run or select a subset of the model you want to run, similar to what Paradime also support. So I'll say from a DBT execution perspective, definitely Paradime and Cursor plus the extension. Then we had to spend time and set up. They sort of like converge to a similar experience compared with Snowflake that again seems a bit more focused within the data exploration phase. I want to now kind of like wrapping up here now on a couple of more things around the AI side, right? So we saw a bit of SQL explorations in there. We saw a little bit of generation of sources, but what about like adding tests, right, or updating documentations and things like that? So let's try with this. So I'm going to go in Paradime. I'm going to pick up one of our prompts again. Yeah. And we'll see how far we can get with this workflow within the tree system. Okay, so I'll go here and I want to add maybe from stage F1 circuits. Okay, so see what we're able to do in here. So yep, looking at the structure, understanding a little bit more of the model. There's a couple of few areas of readings and finding informations and so on before we get to actually creating the schema. But I think, yeah, it's pretty good. I think on doing this, again, it's a bit more focused on how we can use AI across our DBT project rather than specifically to one area. So yeah, we're able to create this file. That's so far so good. We can accept there on the front. And now I want touched on the Snowflake side. We know, unfortunately, this is not. No, there's no way we can do that. It's a bit of pain, but we'll go and look at, okay, what we can achieve now with Paradime from the angle too. So let me go ahead and share my Paradime screen. Okay, so I got this ready. Like this, I'm gonna select one of these files. And I'm going to use a prompt. So yeah, prompts are pretty powerful within Paradime, because it allows you to just have one-click option to go and generate all these things for us. We don't have to think about it too much, and we can keep expanding those. So from a DinoPrompt perspective, what we'll see here is we can expand this prompt, we can write this prompt the way we want it, we can enhance it as it's a lot more flexible. We have the ability to use those in there. We also have done rules in here, which allows you to configure the kind of behavior we want from the agent in there. But DinoPrompts too allows us to build and generate these artifacts a lot faster. And again, I think the experience here seems that it's a lot more straightforward in terms of there are just a couple of interactions before you just went and create the tests and the definition that I had there from that point onward. There's an interesting things to here around how the agent interacts with the rest of our system. So with Paradime, it's a lot more contextual, which means that we do focus a lot on providing the right level of information to the agent as you go along in context to the development. So this is from this angle. I think we've just been on time, but from a Snowflake perspective, again, unfortunately, from this point onwards, when we look at code generation, we can see how we can generate code outside of the Snowflake DBT project. But if we want to look at generating descriptions or anything else related to this, there's really not a way for me to do that in here. So even if I might create a new SQL file there, we can try again, but let's see. And I'll see if I can pass some here. I don't think there's just the context available that we will need in there to work within the right fashion. So it's able now to pick something again, which is pretty positive there. But it's sort of like not consistent. I can see that the behavior with that we're after that, so we have to go and specify two more things there. So I think we've wrapped up on some of the workflow. I think there's a lot more as well that we can cover in future sessions, but see how the three systems have been kind of built in a way so that we focus on different parts of the workflow in a way. But you can see that cursor, for example, from software engineering is pretty powerful from the angle, but it does require a lot more setup. I did spend a few hours, I have to say, just on setting up the MCP. We'll get more detail of that inside our blog post on this one. But we can see on the Snowflake end a lot more on SQL generation, right? So the AI experience is steered towards generating SQL for exploration, not much from a DBT modeling perspective, or a lot less compared with, I guess, when we look at Paradime, we do focus a lot on the DBT workflow, on keeping those tight from there. So we'll just be over now, but excited to walk through those few workflows that we will highlight there.
And Fabio, thank you for the demonstration. I learned a ton, especially from the Snowflake side, since I haven't messed with Snowflake Workspaces much in the context of DBT development. And so from the demonstration, I saw that Paradime, if you want a code IDE that is very specific to DBT development and analytics engineering, kind of all the moving parts around those responsibilities, Paradime appears to be the best option. But I have a question for you. Let's say you switch companies in this hypothetical world. You're running a data team. Paradime's off the table. Based on everything you've experienced working with Snowflake Workspaces and Cursor, which one would you pick for your team?
Oh, good question. Good question. If I have to think about the flexibility, and if I do have resources to manage all the infrastructure around it, I'll say maybe because it's a lot similar, but I'll say Cursor will be my preferable choice in that case, mainly because I have a terminal, I can customize it. It will come with a baggage of, depending on the team size, I might need 1 or 2 people to manage that for the rest of the team, right? I did spend, as I said, quite a few hours of my time trying to set up an MCP that there's just no way will work for that. But it does come with a larger degree of flexibility, for sure, compared with, I guess, Snowflake, which is a lot more tiered towards SQL exploration.
Awesome. So assuming that you had the infrastructure resources and the capabilities on your data team, you choose Cursor over Snowflake. But obviously, at the end of the day, with Paradime being an option, I believe that you choose that one simply because there is no need for all those infrastructure resources. The AI capabilities are very integrated within the workflow, and they're very simple for users, whether they're like an expert user or more of a light user or someone new to DBT and analytics engineering. So,
totally, yeah. I think so. I think that definitely there is one challenge I personally face in setting up Cursor is the fact that I need to do a lot of manual work on setting up my Snowflake connection, make sure that my credential is set up in the right way in my local machine, make sure that the MCP server is also configured in the right way, and that has the right level of guardrail. So something we touched upon in previous sessions around how we build Paradime, but Snowflake MCP and MCP server in general, they're quite permissive compared with Paradime. We build with guardrails in mind. There is no way with Paradime I can drop a table, but I know that if I ask Cursor, like, hey, can you clear up my table? You might end up dropping it for me.
Sure, absolutely. No problem.
So yeah, but yeah, I think Paradime most recently we can onboard people in 5 minutes, right? And then you go from getting up and running to actually generate value for the business. And I think that's what matters for most data teams nowadays.
Absolutely. And Fabio, thanks for the demonstration. Thanks for all the preparation you put into this. And we will be back with a live stream in a couple weeks because next week we are in London at Big Data London. So Fabio, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.